Hi, I'm Brian, and today I'm going to be doing a response to Jack from the CD Caves thread on flowers. Flowers on the cover, flowers on the song titles, flowers in the album titles, flowers in the lyrics. It's raining flowers, palpitating flowers. There are flowers everywhere. And Jack, I found this a bit harder than I thought I would, primarily because I'm into 60s music and flower power, and I just didn't have enough in my collection to go through 5 albums. So I had to journey through lands afar and musical palettes anew to find out 5 that would really tick all the boxes. So how did I do? Let's find out. Let's start in 1984 with Danielle Dax and her album Jesus Egg That Wept. What a cover! How good's that? And there are the flowers there. I first sort of heard of her through the Trouser Press Record Guide, and I've bought a couple of albums, and I haven't been disappointed at all. She's very avant-garde, new wave. She worked with Robert Fripp for a time, which is exciting, and she does nearly all of the playing and singing on this album herself. There it is. It's out on the Awesome Records label, but the Awesome Records label itself isn't that awesome, I don't think. Some great songs on here. Pariah, I really like for the slow burn, the chorus and the operatic vocals that she has in there, and also sort of the metallic sort of tinged spoken words, really great. Hammerhead predicts Beyonce's All the Single Ladies and the rhythm of that well ahead of time. Here Come the Harvest Buns might be the most approachable song on the album, and it's a great collage of percussion and bells and synths, and an amazing assortment of vocals. We also have Ostrich, which I love for the guitar harmonics in particular, and this is really experimental new wave, and it's got metal marimbas playing through it as well, which is so cool. Overdriven guitar sounds are beautiful. It just rings and slashes and all adds to the song, and Spoil Factor potentially might be my favorite song on the album, with the reverse looping being done and her vocals over the top. If I suppose a fine array of vocals too. I suppose a good touching place for that is if you like Twin Peaks and you like the soundtrack to Twin Peaks, which came out 6 years later, I reckon you'll really love Danielle Dax. The next album I'm going to show is one that I really think is criminally underrated in terms of psychedelia and acid rock, and that is The Twain Shall Meet by Eric Burdon and the New Animals. And there are some flowers up there, down there, lots of bits and bobs all over the place. And there's Eric, pensively looking out into the distance. I think this is an album of great maturity and maturing from Eric. I think the first album can be seen as a little bit try hard, a little bit trying to jump onto the psychedelic bus. But on this album, I think he really absolutely nails it with the band, and it is a classic. I mean, we could say he's still jumping on the bus with Monterey, but he played at Monterey and he was fantastic. And he name checks nearly everybody else who did there. But apart from anything else, it's a killer song. Love the next track, Just a Thought, as well. There's a staircase in my living room, and it leads to nowhere land. And the irony on that is Eric didn't sing that one. The third song, Closer to the Truth, that psychedelic meltdown in the middle is just like a rave up for the ages. I don't know. I sound like I'm trying to sell a bunch of corn chips or something. I can't keep up with it, but it's really great. Second side has the epic anti-Vietnam War song Sky Pilot. And I think opinion is divided over the last 2 songs with We Love You, Lil, which is a very Eastern, mystical, powerful guitar solo. Potentially goes on a little bit long, but when I'm locked in the groove with it, I'm there for it the whole time. And the last song, All Is One, might be a little bit preachy, but if you take it from a position of love, I think it's absolutely wonderful. Anyway, there it is. Did I show that it's on the incredible MGM label? I mean, I don't know why I'm saying it's incredible, but still, they put it out, so I'm happy about that. And we've got the flowers on the front. Wonderful. I'm definitely going to do a deep dive on that album. Next up is from 1975. This is a New Zealand pressing of the Mahavishnu Orchestra and Visions of the Emerald Beyond, and it's out on the old CBS label. And I was going to talk about this in a bit more detail and go through it, and but I didn't mention there was a flower on there. I talk about the brutality and the beauty that is featured on here. Some incredible playing, but when I looked at the album cover, I saw this, And then I've just done a deep dive on this. Let's see if we can see it. Now look at those two albums. Do we notice that they have anything in common at all? Not too sure about that, eh? Not too sure. But still, we stay on this album, this side with the flower. We've got a pretty amazing album, and that's not a bad album as well. Not bad at all. The next song is a single from 1986 in Australia, and it's by The Moths. And The Moths might be Australia's, certainly in the 80s, premier psychedelic band. And this song is called Flowers. And it is straight out of the 60s, super cool bass, floating guitars, killer guitar solo, melodic vocals, and the breakdown in it really sort of, the breakdown in the middle sort of gives me that sense of David Gilmour slide guitar work that just wafts all over the rest of the song. And it really sort of that Gilmour from the late 60s, very, very early 70s, really kind of cool. But it's the flip side on this one. It's out on the Citadel label, which is always a good bet. It's the flip side, By the Breeze, which is this bucolic pastoral ballad, and it really is the song for me on this album. Acoustic guitar, electric guitar, they're playing sort of like country intervals on the guitar, and there's lots of keys in this swathe of vocals as well. The drums enter halfway to really build it up powerfully towards the end, and then we have a sustained neck pickup guitar solo, which is absolutely beautiful. So that was By the Breeze by the Moths and Flowers, really cool. So next up is one of my favorite albums of all time. And I know that they all seem to be favorite albums of all time that I put up for show. But this one is a favorite of a favorite of a favorite. Probably would make my top 10 of all time. And it is LA Woman by Doors. No, The Doors here, just Doors. And I wonder whether they dropped the definite article just because it wouldn't have looked as good on the album cover, because you've got that sort of slant going across, which is really cool. This is a 2013 European repress on Elektra. There it is there. It looks like it just says Doors there as well. And we've got it on this thread for Jack because of the song Hyacinth House. Now, why hyacinths? Well, there's a theory going around that Ray and Dorothy's house was surrounded by hyacinths, or maybe it goes back to Greek mythology, which might seem a bit more plausible, and the story of Hyacinthus and Apollo that I haven't got the time to explain it to you right now. Anyway, of course, so Hyacinth House, absolutely love this song. Tends to maybe get a little bit neglected here, but some great lyrics and some great melody here. I see the bathroom is clear. Now, he's not just running for the bathroom. Apparently, he was recording his vocals in there. But then he says, I hope so, because he says, I think that somebody's near. A stalker, it's a bit sus. I'm sure that someone is following me. Wait, too, Jim, are they following you to the bathroom? Oh, yeah. Woo! Crazy lyrics. But I love the lyrics at the end. And I'll say it again. I need a brand new friend, the end. And it sounds like he was going for some anonymity, but also to get rid of all the people who were just surrounding him because he was famous, and looking for some people who would, respect him and like him and love him perhaps for the person that he was, away from the spotlight. Fantastic song on a brilliant album. Let's move on to 1982 and Epic Garden Music by Sad Lovers and Giants, also known as Slag. And this is the 2022 Italian repress on white vinyl. And it sounds really great. Once again, I'd love to have a polyline sleeve in here. And the labels are called the Countryside, which looks like this one, and flipping it over, it's the Seaside. But as you can see, there's no special Seaside label there. Now, the reason I really wanted this repress is because it contains lots of the songs that were on the first two singles by the band, which are from Clee and Colourless Dream. And those go for astronomical prices these days. So I was really thrilled to get this one to have those songs as well. This is one of the most wonderful post-punk new wave albums that I've ever heard. And their next one, Feeding the Flame, is every bit as good. We start off with Echo Play and Clock Tower Lodge, which really set the stall out and tell us what they're all about. I love the instrumental art by me, which really reminds me of The Cure, such a good song. And then we get, amongst other things, the 5 songs which appeared or came onto this album from the initial singles, which are Landslide, Lost in a Moment, When I'm Near You, Colorless Dream, Things We Never Did, and Imagination. Now, Imagination has an absolutely killer riff. It is the song that I would serve up to anybody who's never heard Sad Lovers and Giants. Killer riff, and then the whole band comes in, and it absolutely explodes. Brilliant band, love it. It's the perfect starting point, as I said. The only sort of downside is the tightrope touch is missing, but that's okay. We can't have everything. We've got some lovely songs there on vinyl. Anyway, it's been a pleasure, Jack, doing this deep dive into Flowers from Jack from the CD Caves. Thank you so much for putting it together. And remember, if music of any size, shape, sound, or flower substance gives you pleasure, then who am I to argue with your opinion? Hope you've enjoyed this video, so why not watch a few more? There are some. Anyway, until next time, hope you're doing really well. Be cool, and bye now.